You know how our minds just feel so cluttered these days? It's like we're constantly being hit with information, opinions, stress. It's overwhelming, and we're all just looking for a little bit of clarity. But what if the way to get clear isn't about adding more knowledge, but about a radical act of, well, taking things away? Okay, let's dive into this.
And this quote is where we start. It's pretty provocative, right? It suggests that just emptying your mind isn't going to cut it. To really experience something new, the container itself, your mind, your ego, has to be completely shattered. So today, we're going to explore what that really means and, believe it or not, how you might actually do it.
So I want you to ask yourself, honestly, does this sound familiar? Does your mind feel like it's just overflowing with opinions, ideas, and what the source material calls mental rubbish? You know, that feeling of being so full of your own thoughts that there's literally no room for anything new to get in?
And that right there brings us to the very heart of the problem, a mind that's become burdened, not enlightened, by all the stuff it's collected over the years.
There's this fantastic old Zen story that just nails this idea. A professor, just bursting with his own knowledge, goes to his Zen master to learn. The master starts pouring tea into his cup and just keeps pouring until it's spilling all over the table. The point was so obvious. Just like that teacup, the professor's mind was already too full to take in anything else.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? We start out as kids with this incredibly intelligent, innocent mind. It's like a perfectly clear mirror. But as we get older and we pile on all this knowledge and all these opinions, it's like dust gathering on that mirror. Our natural intelligence gets buried, and we end up feeling kind of dull and burdened by what we think we know.
So, if a full mind is the big problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, it's something way more radical than just trying to empty the cup. The real goal here is to get to a state of no mind. Now, it's really important to get this straight. We're not talking about forcing your thoughts to shut up. No mind is about realizing that the mind you identify with is actually an illusion. That soap bubble analogy is perfect. When you really look at it, it doesn't just become an empty bubble. It just pops. It's gone.
This little Zen dialogue just hits the nail on the head. The master's reply is genius. He's saying, look, you can't have a state of mind if the mind itself isn't a real thing to begin with. That constant chatter we think is us, that's the illusion we need to see right through.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds super abstract, right? But there is a very real, very practical method designed for our restless modern selves. So let's talk about the hammer that's designed to actually break the cup.
It's called dynamic meditation. And listen, this is not your typical sit on a cushion and be quiet kind of practice. No way. This is an active, 1-hour meditation engineered to work on the body-mind, this idea that our minds and bodies are totally connected, to literally break through all those old patterns that keep the cup of our ego intact.
The whole thing unfolds over 5 pretty wild stages. You start with 10 minutes of fast, chaotic breathing to just build up a ton of energy. That's followed by 10 minutes of total catharsis. Go nuts, shout, cry, let it all out. Then, you've got 10 minutes of jumping while chanting a mantra, which leads into 15 minutes of just stopping, freezing, and just watching. And it all ends with 15 minutes of celebration and dance.
Now, it might sound like total chaos, but there's a brilliant logic to it. The first few active stages are all about cleaning house, throwing out all that pent-up stress and emotional junk. It's only after you've done that catharsis that you can really, truly drop into a deep, effortless silence.
And here is the absolute secret sauce to the whole thing. Through all of it, even in the most intense moments, you practice being a witness. You just observe everything, the breathing, the emotions, the jumping, as if you're just a spectator watching a movie. This act of witnessing is what builds the awareness you need to see beyond the mind.
Now, I get it. For our modern brains, this might still sound a bit out there, but this ancient approach actually has a measurable, scientific impact on our 21st century bodies.
It's a totally fair question. Can all that screaming and jumping around actually make you less stressed? Well, some scientists decided to find out.
So, researchers got a group of healthy volunteers and had them do dynamic meditation every single morning for 21 days. They took samples and measured their levels of cortisol, which is basically the body's main alarm system hormone, before the study started, and then again after the 3 weeks were up. And the results are honestly pretty staggering. Just look at this chart. It shows the cortisol levels for every single participant before the study in red and after in gray. And here's the kicker.
every single person who finished the study saw their stress hormones go down. Not some, not most, all of them.
Let's put a hard number on it. On average, the participants saw their main stress hormone drop by nearly 29%. That's a huge physiological shift, a powerful confirmation that this wild process of letting go actually works.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how. But there is one last, really important piece of the puzzle, the when. Turns out, the timing of this practice is considered just as crucial as the practice itself.
In ancient traditions, that magical time just before sunrise is known as Brahma Muhurta, or the Creator's Hour. It's seen as the most powerful time of the whole day for meditation and spiritual practice, a time when the whole universe is literally buzzing with fresh, creative energy.
And what is so cool is how this ancient wisdom lines up perfectly with modern science. Waking up at this hour helps sync up our internal body clock, our circadian rhythm. It optimizes our hormone patterns, including that cortisol we were just talking about, which naturally sets you up for better focus and clarity all day long. It's this beautiful meeting of ancient insight and modern biology.
Which really leaves us with one last thought. If you could break the cup of the mind, clear out all the stress with a practice like this, and align yourself with the Creator's Hour, what becomes possible? What could you bring into your life if you truly started every single day with a fresh, completely empty canvas?